and this is when? This is in this second division of iLeague this year.
Okay.
Last year. 4 of my players were made offers on Instagram. I've got screenshots, I've got the whole proof. I complained to AFC again and to AIFF. Both didn't do anything. They marked an inquiry. Javed Siraj came once, did an interview with the players. That's where it ended. Every time it finishes, what else proof do I need to give? Why? Now it's an international problem. Because what I've seen, and that's why I'm scared for the first time in my life, because अगर अपने इंडियंस होते ना और बुकी सट्टे वाले होते तो we would have been able to control. 4 डंडे मारते पुलिस वाले सीधे हो जाते. प्रॉब्लम ये है कि इंटरनेशनल एक्सपोजर है अभी इसमें, इंटरनेशनल रिंग्स.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Football Unplugged with me, Satvik. And again today I have with me none other than, I call him the man, the legend himself, Mr. Ranjit Bajaj, the man who's driving a cultural or a football phenomena in the country with what he's been doing with Mineerva FC. So Ranjit sir, again, thank you so much again. And it's a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much for having me, bro. It's always been a pleasure.
Again, and it's a sad thing that this episode is going to be about something that I never wished I want to talk about, or something that should be in the focus when it comes to Indian football. But unfortunately, as shared by Ranjit sir, we had a terrible incident of blatant match fixing that happened in the Delhi Football League, and that is what we are going to talk about in this entire episode, and we'll be focusing on the particular incident as well, but on a broader level we'll be talking about match fixing in football in India. किस लेवल पे चल रही है मैच फिक्सिंग, कौन से क्लब्स या रीजन्स है जहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा प्रेजेंट है, एंड एट द सेम टाइम एज फेडरेशन एज क्लब ओनर्स क्या क्या हो रहा है इन टर्म्स ऑफ जस्ट एजुकेशन एंड अवेयरनेस अबाउट ऑल ऑफ दिस. सो रंजीत सर, I just would like to dive straight into this. Like, बहुत sad incident था जो आपने share किया. Like, when I watched that story, I was like broken in a sense, right? So, like, that does not seem to be a one-off incident, right? As you've been very vocal about all of this. So, in terms of just the harsh or the ground reality of fixing football matches or just match fixing in football in India, क्या scenario? What is happening at the ground level?
See, bhai, the story goes back to the 1980s. Okay? In 1980s, say fixing बहुत ज़्यादा है Indian football में. So if anyone can just Google it and see IFA match fixing bans for clubs in 1980s. So IFA में Calcutta League में 80s में ऐसा score था 110-0, 84-0, and then they found out both those clubs had fixed the matches and they were banned. So that means it's nothing new. So people should not be shocked कि oh my god ये कैसे आया. But a very big difference has happened now. पहले जो भी fixing होती थी वो होती थी at a very local level सट्टेबाजों के लिए. तो छोटा level. So that if suppose somebody is really interested in it and then he goes and he's a local sattebaz or local bookie and there's enough money being put on that match, so they and it's a very small level thing. At that time there was no money, by the way, coming in from football in that way. Okay, now that means the money from earnings or from sponsorships or from TV. So there was no money for footballers. Because there was no money for footballers, they used to fall for this kind of thing because they had to be paid very few bucks to change. Because if you're losing 84-0, 110-0, that means everybody in the team has been paid off. Yeah. So अब क्या change हुआ कि cricket में जब fixing शुरू हुई and police got so interested in it and they took action and they were able to uncover one of the most international match fixing rings. Yeah. That became itself one of the biggest reasons that it shifted to football. Because there's so much of now, even if there's this one small tournament which happens, जो हम वो अखबारों की headline बनती है कि यहाँ पे कोई tournament कराने की कोशिश कर रहा था और वहाँ पे सट्टे लग रहे थे कहीं पे, they were making it trying to look like an international match. We saw that. Okay. Now the footballers, the bookies knew that if they shift to football, there's no chance they'll be caught. In fact, the levels of money are being made by state level footballers are very low. Correct. The referees don't make any money. The state teams can really, the owners are making losses. So they just give away control to anyone who wants to run their team for the season. And that is the only way they'll be able to keep their club alive without selling it, basically. Correct. Now, when we see all these aspects, Even in the top leagues there's fixing. Top leagues मतलब जब ileague 2017-18 में मैं खेल रहा था, उस टाइम पे मोहन बगान, East Bengal were all playing in my league, and that's when we won the title against Mohan Bagan, East Bengal. That was the first year when I complained to AIFF and to AFC about match fixing. My 4 players got direct offers from bookies. They came to me. I reported it to AIFF and AFC. AFC did nothing.
And AFC?
AFC, the AFC. They have this AFC integrity app.
Yeah.
So in the integrity app, you're supposed to report it and they're supposed to take action. They didn't. I reported it to FIFA. FIFA didn't do anything. AIFF didn't do anything.
उनके end से response
आता था, and that just used to be some wishy inquiry that AIFF का एक बंदा है called Javed Siraj, who's ex-CBI, but he's probably 75, and he's a single person who has no chance of actually doing an investigation because he doesn't have any team under him. He has no chance of going for it in any way. So, matlab, he doesn't have any help. He doesn't have any police authority. So, for a criminal thing, I don't think it should be a committee formed. For example, अगर कल हमारा football match हो रहा है and I tackle you badly, disciplinary committee should ban me for 3 matches, 4 matches, 5 matches depending on the tackle. Correct. If I murder you on the football field, disciplinary committee can't do fuck all because it's the police which comes and arrests me because I've murdered somebody. It's a criminal case.
Correct.
Okay. Now, because fixing is a criminal matter, unless and until the police deal with it, it's never going to happen. That's where I disagree with FIFA and AIFF and AFC when they say that we have to put it to our own committees. No, it's a crime which has happened. And that is why fixing has been allowed to go on for such a long time in AFC and FIFA. They've been trying to get rid of it, but they've not been able to. Because now they've realized that unless you bring the police in, Interpol in, you're never going to be able to do it. Now Interpol's mixed with them and they've been able to catch these fixers from Singapore and Thailand and Malaysia, which were running the biggest betting worlds. Even in Africa, they were running it, Europe, they were running it, they're fixing matches all over the world. This has now reached India. It's reached India in such a way that 2 years ago, I tweeted about it. 1.5 months ago, I tweeted about it. No one said anything, did anything. I complained to Delhi F Football. I complained to AIFF not once. In the last 8 years of my football, I must have complained on match fixing about 10 different occasions, either of offers being made to me directly or to my players. Even now, imagine somebody who's so much a vocal critic and who lives and dies by his moral, उनसे मेरे को भी offer देने से रोका नहीं जाता. That means they are so blatant about it.
तो सर इसमें जैसे आपने कहा कि जब तक डायरेक्टली पुलिस इन्वॉल्व नहीं होती, सो in your encounters working with bookies or people approaching you or your players, right? After, let's say, अगर AIFF, AFC ने कुछ नहीं, did you sort of reach out to the police?
No, because the last time I told AIFF, let me register a case against this, and this is when? This is in this second division of iLeague this year.
Okay.
Last year. 4 of my players were made offers on Instagram. I've got screenshots, I've got the whole proof. I complained to AFC again and to AIFF. Both didn't do anything. They marked an inquiry. Javed Siraj came once, did an interview with the players. That's where it ended. Every time it finishes, what else proof do I need to give? Javed Siraj cannot find out कि किसका Instagram account है. Police can find out. That means if he's not... See, if I have said I've got this offer, that is good enough for a criminal complaint and FIR.
To be registered. Yeah.
Simple. FIR का क्या मतलब होता है? First information report. Nobody is saying you have to go and arrest someone, but at least carry out an investigation. So they've never been doing that. So according to them, when I complained in 2017-18, this was the first complaint ever made by anyone for match fixing in the history of Indian football. And apparently after that, there have been nobody who's done it, but now I'm coming to know at least 5 people in the last 5 days have contacted me, 4 days, and said that we have made complaints to AIFF. Somebody from Goa said it, a very famous coach, that I complained to AIFF, they didn't do anything. Somebody from Mumbai, a famous team owner who plays in the IWL, she told me that I've complained to AIFF and to the last AIFF and to the current FIFA. They have not done anything and I've given them proof.
And it's gotten into the IWL as well.
Oh, IWL, iLeague. I can guarantee even ISL is fixed. When I say ISL is fixed, they can't fix the players. Okay? I really don't think. People say, yeah, money doesn't, somebody is dishonest, will be dishonest. Like even international cricketers for that way had so much of money they did it. But I really doubt it because it's very tough. In cricket, it's very easy to fix a match. Here is more spot fixing. Here is what you will fix referees
Okay.
more than anybody else, because in the entire pitch everybody is getting a crore a month, a year. Okay, so they are not going to fall for something unless you give them 20 crores.
Yeah.
Referee is making 50,000 a month. You give him 10 lakhs, he'll fall for it. And tell him you don't have to influence the match. All you have to do is give 3 yellow cards to this team. That is so easy. Or you give a penalty, any penalty to any team in the match, because I have bet that there will be a penalty in this match. Or there will be so many corners in this match. Total corners above and below लगती है. Above 7 or 9 or 11 और अलग रेट मिलते हैं. किसने किक ऑफ करना है? सो यार तुम टॉस कर रहे हो, हेड्स टेल्स, यू गॉट द किक ऑफ. तो मैं कैप्टन हूं ना, मैं दूसरी बार सोचूंगा भी अच्छा ठीक है मुझे मेरे को पास मिल गया, उसको साइड मिल गई. सोचता नहीं कोई, उस पे पैसे लगते हैं भाई. So you are making sure that now every decision of every referee will be questioned because of a few bad apples. Yes, I agree people make mistakes, but the number of mistakes we see every day in matches is not possible. Because I have not seen, I have been to other countries, and I'm talking about Asian countries like Vietnam, Thailand, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan. I have never seen anybody complain about refereeing so much, about their local leagues.
And
जो इंडिया में होता है, I'm talking about ISL, I-League, second division or state leagues. And by the way, state leagues, people don't know the state leagues, I-League and second division, third division, same referees. They have the same batch of 100 referees, which will be Santosh Trophy right now, same referees you'll see. There are no different referees. Achha, who comes up? Do they come up by merit? No, they come up by sifarish. Whoever the state federation wants to promote, they will promote. It's got nothing to do with merit. So what is AIF's way out of it? They hire a Gora worth 2.5 crores and they give Trevor Kettle.
Yeah.
And they give him 2.7 crores a year to come and tell us how bad he was in the Premier League. He's been voted as the worst referee in the Premier League. So instead of that, maybe if you give the 2.5 crores and gave better salaries to referees, that will help them than giving this one guy who's again past his prime and he's come here to teach us stuff when he couldn't get it right there himself.
So, sir, मुझे ना ये समझना है जब आप कह रहे हो कि you know these guys approached you directly as well. So, पहली बात, what range does the amount, or if you can sort of mention that?
See, with me, it didn't reach that stage. Yeah. The moment he said it, I smashed the phone down on his face and I made it very clear that I'm not interested in this. Now, I was very shocked because he was a club owner.
Oh, wow.
And a club owner in Delhi League. And he had just taken over the club this year.
And now I've come 2023, 24?
Yes. And I've just come to know now that he has 2 clubs. And what 2 clubs does he own? The 2 clubs which were in question that day playing against each other.
The video that you just posted.
Yes. And last year, he owned another club in Delhi League. Now he's given that up and he's taken these 2 clubs. The same guy has got shares in Neroka, in the I-League club. So, how do you make me say that there is no fixing in the I-League?
So, sir, let's say, in terms of, let's say, inclination of a player to agree to something like this, right? मैं एक player हूँ, मुझे कोई message करता है, right? So, do I have a threat coming to my family? Do I have something of that sort? Or is it just them just baiting them with money?
So, how do they do it? They don't do that. They don't take the risk of letting someone select their players.
Okay.
So, he comes in by saying that I will bring my own coach and I will bring 7 of my players.
Okay.
And I will pay the salary of all your other players and all your staff and everything else, and I'll take care of the kharcha of everything, but I will bring my coach and 7 players because I like my philosophy of playing. So now moment you do that, you've got control of the entire match.
And there is no chance of them getting caught as well because nothing is like...
Because they've been brought there for that purpose.
Correct.
So the first time I saw boys from out of state of Manipur playing for Neroka was this year. And I'm saying it loud because now it's the cat's out of the bag, and I'm going to say it louder than even this, because What is happening is horrible. There are other Northeast clubs involved, and they were made to give up the ownership of those foreign investors.
And by made to give up, you mean how does that sort of thing?
Because they went and bought shares of that company. Suppose it's an ex club, they went and bought 70% or 51% shares, so they're controlling it, so they did whatever they wanted.
तो सर अब मान लो आपने कहा अगर आपने भी रिपोर्ट किया राइट, प्लेयर ने भी रिपोर्ट किया, कुछ नहीं हो रहा, देन how does this even sort of what is AIFF's explanation towards all of that? So I'm not अभी भी मैं clear नहीं हूँ.
See, I'll tell you what happens abroad in the Premiership even now.
Yeah.
Even if you are the richest sheikh in the world, even if you go buy the club, you will not be able to be the director in that club unless you pass the director's test in England,
Okay.
in the Premiership. In the director's test, there's a moral interview, there's an ethics interview, and there are so many different psychometric and psychological tests you go through to come to know whether you'll ever fix a match or not. And what kind of, then they'll do a background check on you. Okay, Salah, do you come from a family of fixers?
Exactly.
Where does your money come from? Do you have any source of income which will make sure, or will you go bankrupt and you might just fall for it? So that is how they allow people to do that. So that is what club licensing is. In states, there is nothing known as club licensing. Anyone who basically comes in and pays that state that much money can just walk into now Delhi football. That means the going rate fixed by the state association is 40 lakhs.
For just coming in
playing in the Premier League. Do you know that if I play in the Premier League in 40 lakhs and I'm a fixer like one of those fixers, I can make 1 crore in one season. Easily. So it's a very good deal.
तो सर आपने ना अभी ये भी मेंशन किया कि बहुत सारे नॉर्थ ईस्ट के क्लब्स इन्वॉल्व है इसमें, राइट? सो
क्लब्स नॉर्थ ईस्ट के, बंदे नॉर्थ ईस्ट के नहीं है.
ओके.
So because see, the clubs which will be involved will be the clubs which will have financial troubles. So they are looking for ways out. Now what happened here was that by the time the club owner or the real controllers come to know कि हुआ क्या है, it's already too late.
So sir, is this a regional problem? Is there something जो particular regions पे कि it's
No,
just,
it's a national problem. Why? Now it's an international problem. Because what I've seen, and that's why I'm scared for the first time in my life, because अगर अपने Indians होते ना और बुकी सट्टे वाले होते तो we would have been able to control. 4 डंडे मारते पुलिस वाले सीधे हो जाते. Problem ये है कि international exposure है अभी इसमें. International rings are there. Because every time I go and look at my match, and all of you guys, you must go to Delhi Premier League's Sports Watch पे आता है ऐसे YouTube चैनल. तो उसमें कोई भी मैच सेलेक्ट करना, उसमें जाके नीचे कमेंट्स आते हैं YouTube में लाइव, वो देखना. So उसमें अगर 30 कमेंट्स हैं, उसमें से 3-4 कमेंट्स will be suppose Delhi FC is playing XYZ. So there'll be 3-4 Delhi FC fans and 3-4 XYZ fans, and there'll be 30 messages from East Europeans or Russians or Czechoslovakians or those kind of and why do I know it's from there? Because they write in their own language. So either it's Russian or something like that, and then they are giving rates, and then they are saying on the live thing, and they are saying rate over under, goal after 50 minutes, goal under 40 minutes. अभी जाके देखो सारे comment available है, and 70-80% comments are from there and 20% local fans. And local fans पूछ रहे हैं भाई साहब तू क्या कर रहा है यहाँ पे, तू क्या कर रहा है, what are you doing?
Exactly, like doesn't make sense, right? तो सर अब देखो मेरे पास फॉर एग्जाम्पल मेरे पास प्रूफ है, मेरे पास कंप्लेंट है, मैंने IFF को, AFC को, FIFA को कंप्लेंट दे रखी है, राइट? मेरे पास सब कुछ प्रूफ भी है. देन व्हाट स्टॉप्स देम फ्रॉम नॉट बीइंग अकाउंटेबल?
बिकॉज देयर आर नॉट हु इज सी. एक बहुत बड़ी डॉक्यूमेंट्री आई थी नेटफ्लिक्स पे ऑन फीफा पे. सो फीफा इज द मोस्ट करप्ट बॉडी ever in the history of sports or in the history of corruption, okay? Because there's been nobody more corrupt than FIFA, and it's been proven. People have gone to jail. FBI has raided FIFA. Is it in AFC? Yes, the AFC head has been banned for life for corruption. जो AFC का last president था, he has been banned. So is there corruption in India? Definitely there's corruption in India. जो WikiLeaks की रिपोर्ट निकली थी उसमें जो bribes गए थे, ये FIFA वाली बात कर रहा हूँ, उसमें $50,000 went to the General Secretary of India, who at that time was 20 years ago जो भी था. बांग्लादेश वाले को $300,000 गए थे because he was the head of the South Asian bloc and he was going to get them 6 votes. So the corruption has been going on for a very long time. It's coming out now because it can't be stopped. See, अगर ये corruption हो रही होती and we wouldn't have had a video, no matter what I would have said, nobody would have believed me. I showed the world what is happening. By the way, why? Because 1.5 months before that, I also tweeted and no one believed me. Because it was a penalty given by a referee, which me being a footballer, I knew that this penalty is wrong. But again, people can say, oh yeah,
human error.
Human error. There is no human error now. It's been proven. Now that brings into the doubt the entire league. Now the president of this federation, Delhi Football, is also the owner of a club in the Premier League.
In the same league.
Same league. और वो president है. So what does he do? He takes the date sheet, the dates out, fixtures out. He takes के मैंने सबसे पहले weak team से खेलना है, strong team से खेलना है. He gives himself enough rest between matches. He makes sure his manifesto was that I'm going to bring in a sponsor for Delhi Football from HCL, 60 lakhs. That sponsor somehow has gone to his own club. And then what has come to Delhi? DafaBet, which is a betting website. And if you have a betting website, see bhai, you're wearing this India thing, ये Performax ने किया है, क्यों किया है?
Reliance.
क्यों किया है? Because इनको return इन्होंने ये कंपनी बनाई है Performax की ये shirts बिकेंगी because we are sponsoring the Indian team, return of investment. Adidas कोई टीम को करता है तो अपनी shirts बेचता है.
Correct.
ठीक है, तो Pepsi करता है, Pepsi बेचता है. DafaBet ने दिल्ली प्रीमियर लीग को क्या बेच रहा है वो?
Betting which is apparently illegal in the country.
Betting बेच रहा है किस दिल्ली प्रीमियर लीग पे क्यों कर रहा है फोकस? Because वहां की betting चल रही है. People are actually going and betting so much that DafaBet thinks it's a good investment to make because so many of my customers are betting on this league. Why does all these betting companies go and sponsor the English Premier League? Because 90% of people bet on the English Premier League. Correct. So it's the best thing to have Bet 365 वो जो साइड पे देखते हैं Ladbrokes और all those things on the runners is because people are using that to bet there.
तो सर आपने कहा कि क्लब ओनर और प्रेसिडेंट सेम है. इज देयर नो चेक्स और
देयर इज नो चेक्स एंड बैलेंसेस, देयर इज नो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट.
तो आप मुझे कह रहे हो कि एआईएफएफ जो स्ट्रक्चर देता है या क्लब की ओनरशिप या प्रेसिडेंशियल के लिए एलिजिबिलिटी फॉर एग्जांपल, देयर इज नथिंग that reserves an individual from being an owner and the chairman or president at the same time?
No.
There is nothing written.
There is no written rule like that. And in fact, conflict of interest का section था ही नहीं constitution में. So, another interesting fact. So, Novi Kapadia the great, Novi sir, me, Justice Dave of the Supreme Court, Anil Dave, and Qureshi Saab, who was the Chief Election Commissioner. Okay. We all four were very helpful in getting the constitution together and getting it applied. जो नी AFF की उसमें conflict of interest का section सारा मैंने दिया है. सारा it's been written by me. There are 14 pages on the section of that, but it's not been applied because अभी तक वो सिर्फ Supreme Court में खसा हुआ है. The day that is applied, and it's actually applied because if it's there and somebody is doing it, then I can send him to jail. So it's applied, all this will finish.
And that is why probably it is still halted or
it's halted because everybody will go. 50% of the presidents in the states are owning at least 4-5 clubs in the own league. और उन्हीं लीग्स में इसी so क्या होता है कि मेरा प्रेसिडेंट है, मेरे क्लब में जो खेलेगा वही संतोष ट्रॉफी खेलेगा. मेरे क्लब में कैसे खेलोगे, मुझे लाख रुपए दोगे तो मेरे को एक तो, और तू बेस्ट प्लेयर है बट तेरे को नौकरी चाहिए भाई. नौकरी कैसे मिलेगी? संतोष ट्रॉफी सर्टिफिकेट से. संतोष ट्रॉफी इवन सो मेरिट डजंट मैटर. ये नहीं है कि मैं दिल्ली का हूं, चल ठीक है तू ना खिला यार एज अ फुटबॉल क्लब, मैं पंजाब में जाके खेल लूंगा. नहीं यार, संतोष ट्रॉफी मुझे दिल्ली से ही खेलनी पड़ेगी. मैं पंजाब का हूं तो मुझे पंजाब से ही खेलनी पड़ेगी. अब पंजाब में कैसे खेलूं? मेरिट? नो. आई हैव टू प्ले फॉर दैट गाइज क्लब or I have to pay him that much money.
तो सर नाउ ना जैसे आपने अब मेंशन किया ये अलग अलग लेवल्स पे भी चल रहा है, राइट? सो इन टर्म्स ऑफ एजुकेशन, राइट, मैं अगर एक यंग प्लेयर हूँ, मैं तो यार 10-11 साल का हूँ, राइट, मैंने आपकी वो वीडियो देखी, मेरे लिए इट्स अ वेरी डीमोरलाइजिंग फैक्टर. मुझे नहीं बनना है फुटबॉलर. व्हाट इफ समथिंग कम्स ऑन मी और माय फैमिली, माय करियर इज डिस्ट्रॉयड, राइट? In terms of education, right, is there something that happens in the country via state federations, via just clubs, for example?
Bro, they do this with iLeague clubs and ISL clubs. They have a 1-hour session with this head of their anti-corruption or whatever they have, who goes around and tells everybody and shows a presentation of what are the pitfalls of falling into this. And you must, if you get an offer, you must report it to either your team manager, your team coach, or your team owner immediately. And the whole thing is recognize and then immediately report. Any kind of an offer, doesn't matter you take it or not, it is mandatory for the player or somebody to report it to the authorities or to the public or to make it public that mujhe ye hua hai. If you don't do that, after 10 years also, you are still guilty, bro, because you didn't report an offer.
And they can be a bad.
So there are cricketers who have been banned for not for taking money, not for reporting offers. So this culture is still not, they don't know about this. Why are people not taking it seriously? Because how many people have gone in India to jail for fixing a football match?
Yeah, that was going to be my follow-up. Is there anyone who's just ever been jail to chodo, just been?
Has there been a criminal case against anyone for fixing a football match? No.
सर तो ना पहले तो हमारी कंप्लेन होती थी कि यार इससे AIFF के जो पुराने मेंबर्स थे वो पॉलिटिशियंस थे या जो थे दे डिड नॉट कम ऑन मेरिट राइट अभी भी है तो पॉलिटिशियन नहीं बट कमिंग फ्रॉम अ फुटबॉलिंग बैकग्राउंड राइट हैज समथिंग चेंज्ड बिकॉज
सी भाई नाउ yes, I mean I guarantee you because this had been going on for a very long time now bhai. Since I've been there from day one I've been seeing fixing. And I've been complaining about it from day one also. In fact, the fixers and this lobby is so strong that they started calling me a match fixer. They started putting accusations on me that I am fixing matches. Okay, so the lobby is so strong. That's what they do. That's what, I mean, any whistleblower.
Isolation.
So wo karte hain. So they start putting it on you that you are the match fixer. That's why you're saying all this. Now, first time I tweeted about it, within 24 hours, there was a meeting called an AFF emergency committee meeting the next day in AFF on this matter, and a statement came out within 24 hours. Within 6 hours of me tweeting, the statement came out from the president Kalyan Chaubey saying that there are some videos circulating on this and I am very disturbed and shocked to see this.
This is the recent one जो आपने अभी डाली?
Yeah, and I will make sure something happens. And that time I thought कि नहीं यार चलो, so lip service है. Next day there was an emergency committee meeting where he called for explanation from the Delhi president कि report दो इसकी, ये करो, and then he also sought time from anti-corruption joint commissioner of police.
Okay.
And then that's the time I tweeted that if you people don't fall an FIR, I will fall an FIR, lodge an FIR.
तो FIR हो चुकी है.
And then the next day today there's been a photo yesterday night that he went along with the president and filed an FIR.
तो सर इसमें
So huge change. That means action is there.
तो सर इसमें अब राइट अब मान लो अल्टीमेटली मैं दिल्ली फुटबॉल का प्रेसिडेंट हूँ राइट अल्टीमेटली मेरी लीग में जो होता है अकाउंटेबिलिटी मेरे ऊपर है राइट
Buck stops with you.
यस राइट कोई रेपरकशन होगा
No.
रीजन बीइंग
that he will just say that I didn't know.
and that is
And then they will ask him, then why did you let Dafa Bet come in? Because they were offering me money, matlab the Delhi League money. But then somebody should ask him, didn't you even think why Dafa Bet will sponsor the Delhi League?
तो बट यू कांट सॉर्ट ऑफ होल्ड हिम क्रिमिनल नहीं आप उसको वो कह सकते उसमें तो चलो अब आपने कहा फॉर एग्जांपल जैसे आपने मेंशन किया दोनों क्लब्स का ओनर सेम है फॉर एग्जांपल चलो सर एक बार ना लेट्स आइसोलेटिंग दैट मुझे वो इंडिपेंडेंट पूरा इंसिडेंट एक्सप्लेन करो जो इसकी आपने वीडियो डाली थी व्हाट एग्जैक्टली हैपेंड
See bhai, there were two clubs, Abab and Rangers FC.
ओके बोथ दिल्ली
They are both Delhi Premier League clubs. Premier League of Delhi is not a small league. It's the same league where Sunil Chetri was picked up by the Calcutta clubs. Sunil Chetri played his topmost football in Delhi Premier League. So standard. इस साल क्या standard है? एक I League club Delhi FC, एक second division club Sudeva FC, दो third division clubs Garhwal and Vatika are currently playing in the 12 or 13 member team. तो मतलब चार टीम्स इसकी इतनी प्रोफेशनल टीम्स और सो गुड है दैट दे आर प्लेइंग टॉप लीग्स. इसमें कितने रेफरीज हैं जो हैं आईएसएल और आई लीग में हैं? देयर 6 रेफरीज हु आर इन द आई लीग और द आईएसएल राइट नाउ हु कम एंड डू द दिल्ली लीग एंड डू दैट आल्सो.
ओके
क्योंकि दिल्ली से भेजे गए हैं. उनकी कोई क्वालिफिकेशन है? जीरो। उनको कोई मेरिट पे लिया है? नो। क्यों भेजा है? उनमें से एक रेफरी ऐसा है जिसका बाप हेड ऑफ रेफरीज है दिल्ली में, उसने अपने बेटे को भेजा है। जो मैंने पहली वीडियो ट्वीट की थी जब मेरे को दे गॉट अ ड्यूबियस पेनल्टी अगेंस्ट मी सुदेवा, is his son who has just come back from the ISL. Then he goes back to the ISL because there is no repercussions for doing anything at all. So they were, Abab was winning 4-0 from Rangers, 86th minute. Suddenly the brief must have been कि तुमने 4 गोल करने हैं और फिर तुमने सेकेंड हाफ में 2 गोल खाने हैं। रेंजर्स ट्राई कर रहा था, उनसे गोल नहीं हो रहे थे। इनको लगा हमारी तो बैठ जाने वाली, हमने पहला काम कर दिया, अब 2 गोल की वजह से ये ना होए तो हमारे पैसे, एंड दैट वाज द लास्ट मैच, सो इट वाज नॉट दैट इन द नेक्स्ट मैच दे कैन फिक्स अनदर मैच एंड मेक इट अप, सो लास्ट मैच ऑफ द लीग, तो लेट्स गो फॉर इट, एंड दे हैड 4 मिनट्स, द मोमेंट दे स्कोर्ड द सेकंड गोल द whistle was blown
before time
because I think that thank God the referee blew it because साले क्या हो क्या रहा है यार ये।
तो sir,
I mean, it could have been fixed as well before time.
Yeah.
It was actually 89 minutes, 90 minutes. But I really hope it was because
उसको
लगा कि हो क्या रहा है ये।
तो सर अब वहाँ पे केस हो गया, राइट?
That's what they say.
अच्छा।
So I will believe it when the police comes out and says कि we've registered an FIR, or then once an FIR is registered, I know the truth will come out. It can't be swept under the carpet. Delhi police, by the way, no matter what people say about them, but I have respect for them because they are the same ones who took out the international match fixing standard in cricket. हाँ, तो ये नहीं है कि they are inexperienced in this. They have actual people who've dealt with this kind of shit before, and on a much bigger scale.
So sir, similar thing यूवे के साथ हुई थी, I think early 2000, mid 2000 जब यूवे को भी relegate कर दिया था, I think this was match fixing, right? So do you think अगर repercussions हैं, right? आपने कहा एक पुलिस इंसिडेंट हुआ है which will ultimately open the book. Do you think there will be repercussions because ISL involved है, उनकी अपनी ownerships involved है, उनकी अपनी image involved है, right? Do you think अगर ISL तक ये बात पहुंचती है, ISL referees तक बात पहुंचती है, would there be any repercussions in terms of just teams being relegated, even in I-League for that matter?
They will not allow it to come out unless the police brings it out. See, if it's in the police's hand, they will not stop कि जिसका है, they will take it out कि who's responsible. For example, जो अब I-League की बात चल रही है, this should have been brought out much earlier by AIFF to the public that we have filed cases we have filed a complaint to the CBI against 2 clubs of I-League. And why were they allowed to take part? If there's been a CBI complaint against them and their fixing is suspicious, they should have been suspended till they're cleared.
Correct.
But the same clubs are taking part. And now I can tell you very, very openly that the same clubs are now involved in fixing in the I-League.
So, sir, मतलब as a fan, right, who loves the sport, who watches the sport for the love of it, who just wants कि यार मेरा सब ultimately Indian fans का सपना क्या मुझे वर्ल्ड कप खेलते देखना है, right? सबका सपना यही है. But you know, चाहे आप AFC के बाद देख लो, एशियन कप के बाद आपने देखा 90% लोग थे यार मेरे को नहीं देखना फुटबॉल, क्या परफॉर्मेंस थी, राइट? अब मैं देख रहा हूँ कि मैं मैच फिक्सिंग यार मेरे को नहीं देखना, राइट? सो हाउ डज Indian football even recover from something like this if this comes out, right? Because the scale is...
It's a very good thing. It's not a bad thing which has happened. So I'm sad it's happened, but I would have been sadder if I knew that it's the first time it's happened. I'm kind of happy that people are knowing about it and now something's going to be done. Because this was blatant, everyone knows this match fixing, there's no proof required. और अगर अभी भी कुछ नहीं हुआ, then there's no going back. Then even I think I should stop following football and even doing anything for football because मैं कैसे किसी बच्चे को कन्विंस करूं या किसी बाप को कन्विंस करूं कि तू इस गेम में डाल और ये यहाँ पे गंद होएगा. So merit will never win, it will always be money. So we need some solid action because by that time this thing happened, हांसी क्रोनिया वाला, हमारे पास एक बहुत फेमस, तेरे को भी याद होगी, एक फोटो है दाऊद इब्राहिम की मैच वो ऐसे बात करते हुए.
Correct.
Everybody knew that all those matches were fixed. Everybody knew, but nobody could prove it.
Yeah.
Everybody knew these cricketers used to go there, get gold, get this, get that, but nobody could do anything.
सुनील के पास करवा तो क्लियर इंटरव्यू है, कोई मुझे बुलाया था.
बुलाया था और ये हुआ था. So it was very open.
Yeah.
That means it was started happening from 1990s till this time. That means for so many years, fixing was very rampant in cricket. उसके भी 1-2 साल बाद अब बहुत मुश्किल हो गया because people have got it. So now they will go to any new sport. अब ये खत्म होएगा. If the moment this, they will go to some other sport.
कबड्डी for example.
Or for example, anything which international or which is live, which can be fixed. So kabaddi is very tough to fix and give rates on.
Yeah.
जहाँ पे international rates जहाँ पे भी मिलते हैं जिन चीजों पे. Football is very open. Cricket is open. Is a bookies game. So.
Sir, one thing, right? Ab could be coming out of lack of knowledge for this question, right? मेरे को ना, with what probably I see in cricket, कि a lot of cricketers को live threats मिलते थे जब वो कहते थे कि मैं तेरे को report तो पुलिस के पास नहीं चला जाएगा, right? In football, is there a whistleblower protection, something of that sort that is mentioned in documentation?
No. Not only that, why do you think there's been only one guy who's come out and complained? Because सबकी फटती है यार.
Exactly, obviously.
और मैं तो पागल हूँ. See, the thing is, I'm not scared. The whole thing is that I've always lived my life like this, and especially from the background I am, the armed forces, and especially then the way I've been brought up as a very huge patriot and nationalist, I am not scared of these things. If I die for the truth and one day for standing up and saying what is right and what I believe in, I'm okay with it. I will never back down. And that is what has made me stand apart from everybody else, because I say it like it is. And whatever I've said always has come out later on to be true.
Correct.
Okay? That's why I tweeted about it 1.5 months ago. So I really hope now people get into the habit of just understanding that whenever these things come out from wherever, me, whatever, that action has to be taken on it. Now, we fans cannot even rest for 1 second until and unless people go to jail for this. There have to be people who go to actual jail. Why? Because some kind of fraud has happened.
Correct.
And money has changed hands.
Correct.
And yes, you're right, threats could have also happened. But that will all come out. So there can be not only criminal intimidation cases other than fraud and money laundering and this and that, अगर बाहर पैसा भेजना है तो.
तो सर लाइक अभी भी ना लाइक आई एम नॉट रियली क्लियर बिकॉज हमने FIRs वगैरह फाइल हो रखी हैं, कंप्लेन फाइल हो रखी हैं, राइट? बट इस पूरी चीज का हाउ डू वी गेट आउट ऑफ दिस मेस? हाउ डज दिस गेट रिजॉल्व्ड? सॉल्यूशन क्या है बेसिकली?
Like there was in cricket, which I think has really cleaned up from the time of Dawood Ibrahim.
Yeah.
Because people were arrested and sent to jail, including bookies, including club owners of IPL teams were sent to jail.
Correct.
Including players were sent to jail. जब तक इनको ये नहीं होता कि हम जेल जा सकते हैं, क्यों? क्योंकि तुम क्राइम कर रहे हो यार, क्राइम करोगे जेल जाओगे. एंड ऊपर से somebody who can do this should be banned for life, because that means he doesn't love the sport.
Correct.
If you love your sport, मैं अपने मोहल्ले की गेम ना फिक्स करूं जिसमें कोई पैसे की बात ही ना होए. I will not lose to my dad.
Correct.
Because that's the way you are brought up, man.
When
Sports people are
exactly.
like this. You don't lose for anything. That's the whole point of sports.
Correct.
That who's good on the field is good on the field because of how good they are, not because of money.
Correct. And sir, you know, it a lot is about walking the talk as well, right? At Mineerva, right, you handle players from like 7 till going on, you know, the probably about one thing is like 35, 36, right? So how do you ensure, right, कि मेरे clubs में nothing of this sorts happen in terms of just transparency, in terms of education? How does that happen in Mineerva?
So if you see my WhatsApp DP, the DP is of a picture which I've taken. It's there in every room of Mineerva. Whenever you go to Mineerva, in every classroom, in the mess, in the hostels, and in a main auditorium, it's black marble, 18 feet by 4 feet. So it's embedded in the wall. And it says the Minervan honor code. A Minervan shall not lie, cheat or steal or tolerate those who do. That is there and it's on my DP right now.
I remember when I was there.
So भाई अगर तुम इतनी proudly ये बात बोल दो ना, उसके बाद तुम ये काम कर नहीं सकते हो, because सारे बोलेंगे साले क्या बोला हुआ है, क्या लगाया हुआ है, क्या काम करता है तू. And that also shows to the players from day one what our ethics and our morals are. shows that it's not about, see bhai, it's not only about ये नहीं है कि चलो ठीक है वो कर रहा है करने दो यार चलो ठीक है हमारे को क्या. We don't even, Mineerva honor code, we don't even tolerate those who do. We don't cheat, lie, cheat or steal, but we don't even tolerate those who do. I always tell them, personality is not only the ability to impress others. मतलब तुम मेरी पर्सनालिटी से कितना इंप्रेस हो रहे हो वो मेरी पर्सनालिटी का 50% है सिर्फ. बाकी 50% क्या है, मैं किस किस से इंप्रेस हो रहा हूँ. अगर मैं ऐसे बंदे से इंप्रेस हो रहा हूँ जो चोर लुच्चा मक्कार है तो मैं भी चोर लुच्चा मक्कार हूँ.
That is beautifully put out, sir. And sir, you know, for everyone who's watching this, right? It's something that isn't talked a lot about in Indian football, right? Match fixing, realities, kya ho raha hai, right? Two things, right? A message to all the fans, right? Because I think the change will start from them voicing it out, right? Number two, to the players who probably will be approached at some point in their careers, right? Number three, to probably the club owners, federations, all of those, you know, who are involved in the management of it. What is something that you would like to say to each of them individually, independently?
See, agar you had asked me this question 10 years ago, my message to the players would have been appealing to their good sense for the nature of the game. I don't need to do that anymore. Guys, it's very, very simple. This is for the players, for the owners, for the referees. This is the age of social media. This video which I tweeted will never be deleted in the history of internet. So what that means is the grandchildren of these players will find this video and say कि मेरा grandfather साला चोर था. Simple as that. Because this is going to be history now. Every match anywhere is always recorded by a phone somewhere. Nothing is going to go escape free now. So I think it's a very good thing because now even local tournaments are streamed live.
Correct.
That is why live coverage is very important. People say, but there's live coverage, that is why there's fixing. No, live coverage also ensures CCTV. CCTV means live coverage. CCTV है तभी तुम्हारे चोर पकड़े जाते हैं. That's also deterrent कि everything is there. This kind of blatant thing cannot be happening then. It's happened. People say, no, it's happened. That's why they've been caught because there was live. That's one. The second thing is, I must assure the fans that yes, there are bad apples like this, but it is a reflection of our society, bhai. So it's not that we have corruption nowhere in society और हमारे football में है. देखो भाई, we come from the same society where our politicians are corrupt, where our cops are corrupt, our teachers are corrupt, our lawyers are corrupt, IAS officers are corrupt, everybody is corrupt. Difference is some places, some people are more corrupt, some are less. Okay? So it's a reflection of society. It would have been very strange that in India everything is corrupt but football is not corrupt.
That is true.
So we should not be shocked about it. Okay? Everything in India is corrupt. How do we make sure it's not corrupt? By making sure we have good standard operating procedures and practices, by eliminating any chance of conflict of interest, of any chance of favoritism, any chance of age fraud. So अब ये सारी चीजें बाहर आ रही हैं. पहले 20-30 साल लोग इससे लड़ते भी नहीं थे. People have to understand the changes are coming, but because it's been going on for so long,
it will take
time. But changes are coming because we've seen action on this immediately. We've seen action on the cricket fixing immediately. People are actually worried about it. In the last 4 days, it's gone to an international level. And because of that, it's a great thing. It's the power of social media. It's the power of you guys. As long as we guys, all of us, Indian football fans, keep standing up for what is right, we will send our team to the Asian Games also, your victory. And we will send these culprits to jail also, our victory. And we'll see ourselves in the World Cup also.
So, you know, the minute I saw this video, I think 3-4 minutes बाद मैंने रंजीत सर की वीडियो देख ली है, and it was heartbreaking, right? What had happened on the field, and I think probably the next day I messaged sir, यार sir, I want to talk about this because I want people to know about this कि चल क्या रहा है, because I think something like this isn't something that is talked about often, right? And I've seen, you know, some people on Instagram make fun of it, right? I don't think this is funny, right? I think this is something that people need to discuss, people need to talk about, people need to talk about seriously, right? जितनी तुम जब गालियां देते हो इतना कि यार टी मैच आउट ही हो गया, AFC नहीं तुमसे खेले जा रहा, I think this is the same level of anger that we need to show when it comes to match fixing as well, because this is more polluting to the society, to football in general, than any other thing, right? So sir, thank you so much. I think it would be a very important episode. I think very important information that a lot of these guys get. And again, sir, it's been an absolute honor. Not the topic that ideally I would have wanted to talk, but I think it's probably the most important topic that people actually need to talk about. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day. And again, talk about these things, talk about Indian football, because that is the only way we are going up and in the right direction. Thank you so much, and have a great day.